Okay, so you know how we all love Evernote?
At least we want to love it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the idea of it, like this perfectly organized digital brain.
Uh-huh.
But then sometimes it feels more like a black hole of notes.
Oh, tell me about it, like a digital junk drawer, you know.
Totally. And today, we're diving into a source that tackles that head on.
Ooh, interesting.
So it's all about how teachers are using Evernote to prep for their classes.
Okay, so lesson plans, notes, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But it gets really interesting because they're not just dumping info into slides. They're actually trying to, like, pull out the best stuff from Evernote.
To make it, what, more engaging for the students.
Exactly. And before you think, well, I'm not a teacher, hold on.
Right.
The skills here, they actually apply to anyone who wants to make their notes more, I don't know, impactful, whether it's for work, a presentation, or just yourself.
You know, you're right, because that whole idea of taking a ton of information and actually making it useful, that's something we all struggle with.
Oh, for sure. Like, what even is a useful note? If you're
Yeah.
listening right now, think about it. Are your notes mostly for, like, quick reference? Or are you trying to get a deep understanding of something?
I think the source is hinting that a big part of it is who you're making those notes for.
Oh, interesting.
Like teachers, their audience is their students, obviously, so they're constantly thinking, will this make sense to them?
Hmm. So even if I'm taking notes just for myself, it's almost like,
You have a future audience. Yeah.
yeah, kind of trippy,
It is.
but also useful. Okay, so let's get back to that digital junk drawer
We
problem.
overflowing Evernote. Yeah.
Did this source have any, like, concrete tips on how to avoid just turning your lessons into a big mess?
Well, it wasn't a step-by-step guide, but I did notice a theme. It's almost like, imagine you're a carpenter.
Okay.
You wouldn't bring every tool in your toolbox to every job, right?
No way.
So it's about being selective with which notes you actually use. And specifically, the source kept coming back to these three things: clarity, relevance, and engagement. Right. So think of those as filters.
I love that. Filters for your notes.
Exactly. So before you put something into a lesson or a presentation or whatever, ask yourself, can someone else actually understand this note?
Makes sense. What else?
Is it actually relevant to the goal? Like, is it connected to what you're trying to teach or achieve?
Oh, right, because we all have those notes that are, like, interesting but totally off topic.
For sure. And then the last filter, is it engaging? Does it have a story, an example, something that'll make it stick in people's minds?
Wow, I was skeptical at first because who wants to think about teaching when they're just taking notes?
Right.
But this is actually super helpful. Like, those three filters, clarity, relevance, engagement, those could apply to anyone.
It's true. And I think the source is getting at something even deeper, which is, what if we all thought of ourselves as teachers a bit more?
Whoa. Okay, explain that.
Like, what if the goal of any note wasn't just to hoard info, but to make it clear and interesting for someone else? Even if that someone else is just, future you.
That's such a good point. It's almost like instead of just being information collectors, we become these curators?
I like that. Curators. Yeah.
So, listeners, something to think about, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if you approached your notes with that kind of teacher mindset?
Yeah.
Maybe our Evernote would be a little less junk drawer and a little more inspiration station.
I'd sign up for
Me
that.
too.